This one's wouldn't start at 5 o'clock anyways.
Means you have to get home 10 minutes early.
We'll start early then.
I'll wait till Denise gets here.
No, 30.
Oh,
Did get you here, I heard your request. You wanted the agenda? The absolute
Oh,
minute?
she gave me one.
Oh, okay,
Thanks.
Linda had two, she stole one.
okay. There's an extra one.
Bird got stuck.
All right, start.
Okay, we're calling meeting to order, office and admin. May the 19th, 2026. We'll, burn up all of the agenda.
Yep, so moved, copy.
Okay, well, there's an addition to the agenda.
Oh, is there?
Yep, 7B, it's the quote for the server.
Okay. So Derek has moved it. We need a second there.
I'll second.
Thank you. Anyone have a declaration of pecuniary interest? What's going down the rivers? It's good.
I'll put life jackets on them all. There you go.
You look at the minutes of the April 21st meeting and motion put it on the floor. John? Richard? Any questions, comments? John and Richard.
Okay, sorry.
I had one question, the procedural bylaw. Some alterations were made. So are we, the item under old business, are we approving the bylaw with the alterations made, Denise?
Well, there was a request that I researched a little more into how other municipalities handle the issue of delegation requests. With the timing of the publishing of the agenda. So I just have a little bit of information to go through and council can make a decision and I'll alter the procedural bylaw depending on what council's decision is on that.
Okay, that's good. Anything else? Seeing none. Carry on. No delegations. We'll go on to old business. Housing development, DSAB, housing needs study. Now, I will admit that I just put my copy up today, too long to print. And I haven't looked at it, but what about, anyone, I guess we better put it on the floor first.
Have someone Counselor Stream.
Eric? Don?
Well, given that I know that you've received your hard copies today, you get your electronic copies a couple weeks ago. But if you wish to defer this for another month, we can defer it and then discuss it after everybody's had a chance to read the hard copy that I've given out of the package.
I would like to have that.
Yes, I didn't do that.
Yes, what about you, Richard?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I would agree with that because one, can we accept it? And then it can be a public document that the public can look at too, or,
we can receive it and defer discussion till the next meeting.
okay. But
That way it is a public document.
that makes it a public document. Okay, that's what I'd like to
So you
do
want
because
your motion?
there could be people in the public that want to see it.
We need an emotion.
I'll make that.
Eric? Seconder? Dale? We'll go on then to the new procedural bylaw. So Denise, you can bring us up to date on that.
And there was some concern from council at the last, or the committee at the last meeting as to how delegations would work. And they requested that I review the municipalities as to how they deal with delegations. And a lot of it has to do with the timing of the publishing of the agenda. And how do we time the publishing of the agenda to allow for time for delegates to say, hey, there's something on the agenda I want to speak to, how can I speak to it? And it's kind of like a chicken and the egg thing, because until we publish it, you can't see it. Until they see it, they don't know whether they want to be on or not. So it's kind of, you know, and most municipalities, don't, that was a good way to put this. Don't allow for that pre-publishing, in order to give the public time to say, hey, I want to be on it. Once it's published, it's a public document. The vast majority of municipalities now will publish the whole package in full prior to the meeting. I've reviewed with a lot of other municipalities, and whenever their publishing time is, they will publish a full electronic version online, and then they will provide agenda only, for people who come. But and then paper copies to all of council, of course, who wish to have it. But the publishing of the full package is done when the agenda itself is published. So that might be something that council wishes to change and see happen when we publish, our agendas. I don't see that it would be really any extra work, because we do PDF all the documents in the first place. And it could be just made into one big PDF file. The file itself could get pretty big depending on the size of the documents. You know, I mean, if you look at this document, trying to PDF it into a whole package, that means the package that you're handing out to people or electronically may easily be 150 pages. So it's up to council how they want to deal with it. I'm of the opinion that more is better. The vast majority of municipalities are now pre-publishing everything. Everything goes out to the public gets to see it. With respect to delegations, they can still request. It's up to the chair, to either accept the delegation or to not accept the delegation. If the delegation isn't accepted, then it's known to the committee that a delegation would have liked to have spoken to this. Like if the delegation sees it late and says the day before, I want to speak to it, and we're like, no, I'm sorry, you're too late, you can't get on the agenda. However, I will let the committee know that there will be a delegation that wants to speak to it, and it's up to the committee at that point in time as to whether they want to defer to the next meeting to, you know, to hear the public comments or the public delegation regarding it, or whether they wish to proceed with it. Unfortunately, there's no way to get around the whole chicken and the egg thing. Because until we publish, public doesn't know, till the public knows, they can't tell us whether they want to be on there. So. The long and the short of it, I think, is that, I would like to see the full package published, all the, not in camera items, of course, being published and allowing the public to see it, the 7 days prior to the meeting. And the way we could work the delegations is if at that time, once it's published, if the public then wishes to speak to any item on the agenda, they could then inform the clerk, who would then inform the committee that, or the chair of the committee, that there is a delegation that wishes to speak to an item. It's up to the chair as to whether he wants to allow it at the committee or whether he wishes to defer the discussion to the next meeting, or how he wants to handle it. If he feels that he or she feels that there's enough time to allow, depending on the size of the agenda, then it's up to the chair to have that ability to add that to the agenda at the meeting, like we added 7B here. Right.
Richard.
Yeah, I think you should check on the duties and responsibilities of your clerk. Because it seems to me, my reading of that was, it is the clerk's responsibility to prepare an agenda.
Mhm.
So if somebody comes to the clerk and says, I want to be on for a delegation, and it's within the time frame that we're allowing, I don't think the chair is in a position to refuse to take a delegation. That is the clerk's prerogative.
I think to put harmony between council and the clerk, I think would be best that that be done in tandem. I mean, the clerk shouldn't control absolutely everything, and if the public then goes to the chair and speaks to the chair. And I've said, oh no, that there's not enough room, there could be division then. So I think it's best that no matter what, that the chair be consulted.
Well, I just or wouldn't want to see a particular issue averted from the public because somebody doesn't want to take that issue into committee, and that I think is the clerk's prerogative to and duty to make sure that the public has an option to approach council through committee.
Derek,
I know where you're going, with your comments, Mayor Stevens, and I agree. I do think that the clerk needs to, I wouldn't want to see the clerk have full responsibility for stuff like that, because that's where then you start into transparency issues and everything else. I do think that the chair and the clerk have to set the agenda for the committees. But I do like the idea of, if the chair says no, that it be known to the committee that there was a delegation that wanted to speak and was denied. And or even if it was the clerk that denied, like, I think that the committee needs to know that information at the meeting. Because as committee members, you could go, well, no, maybe we need to hear from that person or whatever, or we could then make a motion to defer or whatever. But I think that information needs to be relayed to the committees and not just be the sole responsibility of the clerk or the chair.
Well,
Because we represent the people, so if there is a delegation that wanted to speak to a committee and it's being bypassed, we need to know about it. I think if I'm wording that properly, and I think that's all that transparency type.
okay, Brian, what's your idea?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's just a clerk. I think there's a clause in there that says the chair has a say. Because if you've got three delegations, and it's gonna tie up your meetings, then the chair should have a say in it. Whether it is, and my other part of that is, if the delegation and what they're gonna speak on is in order, then I don't think we have the right to stop them from speaking as long as they're within the time limits that we set.
Mhm.
So, because like Councillor Stevens said, we want to hear from these people, so. And when we don't, we hear about it anyway, so it doesn't matter, so let them speak here, so. If it's within the time frame that we set, then, and as long as the delegation is in order, then
Well, isn't that the way we have been operating now?
I think so.
Yes, John?
So the agenda will be set 7 days prior. But the delegation, how many days are they given? 3 or 4?
well, the thing is if the agenda is set, then any alteration to the agenda must be done at the meeting itself. You're right, there's really no reason to deny a delegation, except when your meeting is overloaded.
Mhm.
And you know, you cannot physically have another delegation and, you know, work the meeting within its required timelines. At that point in time, once it's known that a delegation has been requested, but has been denied due to, for whatever reason, lack of time, whatever, the committee is still gonna know, is going to be informed that a delegation has requested to speak on an item. So at that point in time, I mean, as the chair or as the committee in general, you can vote to defer the discussion on the item until the next meeting, and then the delegation then has the time to speak to it.
And that's why I think we need to know if there was a delegate. The
Oh,
committee
yeah,
needs
yeah,
to know.
definitely, yeah.
You know, not just the chair, because the chair could go, I don't care about that, or I don't like that person, or whatever can happen. And then the committee itself would never know that there was a delegation, so,
There's,
and we would just make motions.
Point of order here. Madam Chair. The question I have is whether the information from the delegation comes to the chair before or at the meeting. The issue is going to be is whether the council or the committee is knowledgeable about the delegation's interest in being a delegate. And we've already seen it where a delegate has come forward and basically we had no answers for the individual. Yet we let him address council. In other words, council was blindsided with his delegation. So you're opening, if you leave it to the data, yes, the chair can control it. But it is awfully nice to see exactly what the delegate is proposing before he comes to the meeting.
Hmm,
Yes, Derek.
I gotta disagree with that one, John. I've been on council for long enough. I've never been blindsided by the public yet at a meeting. I think that the ratepayers need to be able to be a delegate, come to us to discuss things at any time. We don't need to know, pre-know what they're gonna say or anything else, or pre-know, no. We're elected by them. If they wanna come to a meeting and speak to an issue, we should allow them. I don't need to know what they're gonna say. Let them say what will. I take out of that the information that I need and the information that I'm gonna discard, and I'll make a decision. But the public still has the right to speak.
I don't, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I don't take the right of the delegate or the public to speak. It's just timing and information.
Yes.
Right.
I kind of agree with John, because I mean, there's a lot of times where, not a lot of times, there's sometimes where the public will try to blindside staff and demand responses to answers that questions that staff hasn't got a response for. And it can lead to the public misperception that staff doesn't know their job, they don't have information. You know, when you're sitting up here and the public's there demanding answers, sometimes it's hard to come up with something that, you know, is reasonably intelligent. You know, where you don't wanna pull numbers out of the air, and you don't wanna speak, you know, something that may not be fully truthful. So it's important that, especially for staff, you know, that we know what the questions are beforehand, so that we can present intelligent information, truthful information to the public. Cause that's what our job is for. Our job is to get information to council and to the public. So I agree with John in the fact that I really push for, we need to see what you're asking for. Cause if, you know, if you're asking us information that we don't have a prepared response for, then it's just gonna be, well, you'll have to wait till the next meeting, or we'll get back to you when we can get that information. Rather than having a nice prepared response at the meeting for them.
So Denise, we need to amend our procedural bylaw, put a time limit in there. Is that what you're saying? Where,
Well, I'd like to see the procedural bylaw amended prior to passing, stating that, you know, that we're going to publish the agenda in full 7 days
yeah,
With all the information.
with all the information as best we can. Like sometimes the emergency things need to come on and they won't necessarily be part of the package and will have to be added later. These things you have to deal with as they come along. But, and then have since it will be fully published 7 days, then have a 5-day minimum. Right, so that way it's fully published for 2 days.
Mhm.
Delegations have a chance to look at all the items for those 2 days. And 5 days in advance, they must request to be a delegation, at which point in time, you know, that they can inform the clerk that they want to be a delegation. I can speak with the chair, we can review the agenda at that point in time to see, you know, is there enough room? Is there enough time? What are they presenting? Is it relevant to the committee?
Yep.
You know, is it relevant to what we're speaking about? You know, stuff like that. Delegations aren't normally denied, for whimsical reasons. You know, I mean, if a delegation wishes to speak, then that's their right to speak.
With our present committee structure, that's hard to do with the 7 days before, because, you know, we'll have a meeting on a Tuesday and a council meeting on Thursday. There's not enough time
Well, that's gonna
to
change.
publish. So would that meeting on the Tuesday automatically go then to the next council meeting, and
Yes,
that's the way that it's gonna be set up then? Okay.
Gotta have a timeline in between there, so we're not pushing one committee meeting right on top of.
Yeah, that's what's hard to do with our present structure, but. I mean, I've always thought that we don't actually really need committee meetings, we should just have. Committees of the whole or council meetings, working council meetings. They could have 4 a month and deal with all the subjects that come before you, so that's the way I thought.
see, the way it stands now, I don't know how to work on for any new structure that might come in. But the way it would stand now, we would have the first 2 meetings, roads, waste and water, go to the council, first council meeting of the month. And then property, safe, security and health, fed and, Austin administration go to the second meeting.
Well, you'd still be running into the same situation,
No, because everything is 7 days apart from council then. All
so.
your committees are 7 days.
Okay, so we need a motion. The first motion you wanted was,
No, that it just, you can give,
Direction.
direction to alter the, procedural bylaw as discussed. And I'll try to get another draft and we'll look at it at the next meeting.
yes,
I agree with that. If
okay,
you
you
want it
make
as
the
a motion,
motion?
I can do it as a motion, but.
Yes, yeah.
Just one question, Denise. When the package goes out to the public, how do you deal with like a consultant's report to the committee? Normally, we would see that and accept that report, and then it would be public. So how does that work when the package goes out ahead of time?
It gets published. Every municipality does that now.
Yeah.
Even before it's accepted, it's published.
Okay,
Because you know it's going to committee. Once committee sees it, whether they accept it or not, once committee sees it, it's a public document.
Okay, we need a seconder then for Derek's motion.
What was your motion?
No,
Just to have the
Clerk talk for the procedural
proceed
bylaw.
with the items discussed.
Okay, go ahead.
Richard then.
I think this is an important document, and if we're gonna do it, let's do it right, so. Thank you, Denise, for all your hard work on it.
Okay, we'll go on to events.
There's no
Grant
CRD.
application, large event, small event, anything new there,
No.
Denise?
No news.
Okay. Moving on to new business, bylaw 2026-20, restricted acts.
Yes.
That's how we do.
That time of year, yes. This is a standard bylaw. Every municipality passes this as they're coming into election year, talks about the lame duck period. There's 2 periods of lame duck, and one is after the nomination period closes on August the 21st or August 20th. So it would start on August the 21st. And if less than 75% of the current council is running, council then becomes what's called lame duck. And then you're restricted from certain things. The items that you're restricted from is, signing authority for expenditures, purchase the agreement for purchase and sale of anything exceeding 50,000, delegations with respect to, employment, hiring and firing, and then, anything that the clerk does with respect to restricted acts must go to council for full disclosure.
Have a motion for that.
I'll make a motion that we accept the bylaw 2026-19 for its 3 reading.
Seconder, Richard. Anyone opposed? Carried.
But I don't think it applies then, Madam Chair, because I saw Rose walk out of here and everybody else walked in here, so there isn't anything.
Just wait.
Are yours in a row?
Okay, we're going on to new business.
Nope.
The
Oh, yes, for 70.
the server, the communication from Nickel City Communications.
So at budget time, when we sat out and priced a server, we took the old server that we had, which was about $5,000, and we doubled the price. The server that we have is about 6 or 7 years old now. And, we considered that would have been an accurate quote. Well, since the wars have started and everything else is being shuttled to the AI centers, chip prices are extremely high. So you see the quote before you. Between the backup and the server, it's double the expected price. We had budgeted 10. And between the backup and the server, it's going to be 20, 21, 22 after and that is after we argued and negotiated with because originally they had server only was 26,000. And so we had a big discussion on what was needed and what was not needed, and we didn't need a Cadillac or a server. We needed just, something that would suit our needs. So that is bare bones.
Yes, Jerry.
Hey, if we go with this particular server, just today, you gotta go to your office and start meetings and stuff like that. Can't do it here. Will that be able to incorporate all that into?
That
No.
will change.
None of that'll change.
No.
How do we change all that? Because it just seems sort of nuisance. Even tablets and stuff, it's hard to do here to be able to access, past minutes and stuff like that. You have to have everything with you because we don't have that
The issue is,
capability in here.
why that needs to happen is it's the issue of recording.
Yeah.
When I record it to my computer.
Okay.
So that it is saved directly onto the server. The only computers that have access to the server are the computers in the general office. You can't access the server from here or the library or anywhere else. It's a closed system, and I don't want to allow somebody to be able to plug in and access our server from here. Cause there's not a computer plugged in here at all times. So for security's sake, I don't have a problem with starting a recording and walking over here. Or being sitting there recording while somebody else is doing the desk area. Okay, so I don't see that that's a huge issue.
All right,
Yes, Fran.
questions?
Of these costs here, are there ones that we incur every year?
The only one that may be a cost that's every year would be the licenses for the server software.
That's at Cronus or?
Yep, see, that's part of the Windows license here. So that might be requirement to renew it every year. But most of these are hard costs that are one time.
One shot.
Yeah.
And I noticed that we're buying a sandbox.
No, we have a sandbox already. It's in the Discovery Center, and I think that Nickel City didn't fully understand what it was or where it was located. We do have a computer out there. Unfortunately, the sandbox doesn't work well with the computer. So that's going to be an IT thing where they just ensure that the sandbox at the Discovery Center works with computer at the Discovery Center.
What is a sandbox?
It's like a virtual reality thing. It's a projection onto a special table so that you can see how water flows through sand, and
Oh,
we have all the parts. We just need the IT to make it work. It used to work, but so.
okay. Sorry from my ignorance, but
So that's the one that's down problem.
Yes,
Yes, Jerry.
How long will this meter need? Is it big enough to get a number of years out of, or?
It's hard to say. Right now, our server sits at about a terabyte. We're almost full, but that's information since the turn of the century. Literally, 26 years worth of electronic information is stored on there. It's been growing exponentially every year. So this one has a 4 terabyte hard drives that are run in sequence. They mirror each other here, so that there's always like
Mhm.
a way to restore, should one of them go. 4 terabytes, like we're at a terabyte right now. Our 2026 information, sits at about 40 gigabytes. So, and it's only gonna go upwards from there as file sizes get bigger and, you know, the programs get more complex and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So 4 terabytes is the equivalent to 4,000 gigabytes. And every year we add right now about 40. So we're sitting at a terabyte, and every year from now we'll add about 40, so we've got enough until we need another server, definitely.
Okay, I just don't wanna buy something too small and then have to do it again.
So what we need is a motion for the extra expense, because we've already passed a motion.
Yep.
For at budget time for 10,000.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
So we need a motion for the extra 10,000.
Do we have?
Well, I would be
do we
nice,
have
how
an-
about 13?
Do we have an actual price?
Yeah, right here, yeah. Well, so this one says 16, and then we have the 5 on the other side. Okay, so basically 5,500 and just over 16, so we're looking at about 21. And just in case there's incidentals that we didn't, you know, come up with when we were doing our discussion with them, like a switch or, you know, wiring or whatever, I'd like to have that see an extra 13,000 instead of an extra 10,000.
So 25,000,
20, well, actually 23, I'm asking.
23.
Yeah,
But we've already passed a motion.
yeah, for 10, so you can do 25 for the whole project, or just an extra 13,
Yeah, I'd do 25 for the whole, I'll make a motion that we do 25 for the whole project.
including the amounts that already previously
Yeah.
budgeted.
Yeah, the
Okay.
amount that's already budgeted.
John, second. Any objections? Carried.
And saying, well,
By the time that system runs out, we won't need it, that's for sure.
Probably should have saved some of those bags of sand.
that's
Probably should have saved some of those bags of sand.
damn right.
Okay, we'll go on to correspondence, a letter from Bruce Mines regarding amendments to the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And the main part of this amendment is, whereas council is of the opinion that the passage of Bill 97 represents a step backward from long-standing provincial commitments to openness, transparency, and accountability. Therefore, the Township of Bruce Mines formally expresses its concern for the passage of Bill 97 and finds that it constitutes a regression from established principles of transparent government. And furthermore, resolved, the council urges the government of Ontario to repeal this provision of the legislation. And then a list of the people you would send it to.
Yes.
A motion to support,
I'll make a motion to support.
seconder, I'll second it, Denise. Any opinions,
Well, I think it's just exactly what we've been talking about here tonight. Transparency. We're elected officials. The public has a right to know, public has a right to see, and the public has a right to hear. And with this act that they're wanting to impose, it privatizes a whole pile of information that then the public doesn't ever have the right to hear, see, or discuss. So I'm for transparency and all that, all avenues of government, and I think we have to support this myself. So,
Any other comments? Any opposition? Passed. Go on to a letter from Manitoulin regarding Manitoulin metal. And I think this is a very, very nice thing that has happened to our children from the high school. And the judges were impressed with the impact Manitoulin metal has on our entire community. And in light of this information, I would suggest that we write a letter of congratulations from Central Manitoulin to these young people. What is your feelings about that? Yes.
I concur. I brought it up years ago when this first started and they were going around and how council supported them and our ratepayers supported them. And I think this team is just doing amazing things on this Manitoulin Island with their workshops, with the youth and everything that they're doing. There's some smart kids out there. This team, again, this year, placed in a lot of competitions. They won the prestigious Impact Award again this year, which automatically qualifies them for next year. They've taken on fundraising initiatives and everything else that they didn't have at the start. So all we can do is praise these kids and support them as best we can. And hats off to them. They're a great group of kids, really representing Manitoulin Island on a world stage. So that's always a good thing.
You have to say, Richard?
Oh, I agree with Eric. You certainly have a crew here that are stepping forward and leaving their mark in the community, and to be proud of them and support them. So if they're having an annual drive, I certainly will support them. I've got 2 or 3 computers in my office that have been sitting there collecting dust that I'm sure will be better placed in their hands.
What do you think about a letter of congratulations to them?
I agree. Congratulate them and thank them for their efforts and ongoing contributions.
You make that motion?
Yes.
I'll second that one.
Richard and Derek. Any opposed? I noticed there's one young girl is up for the leadership award and is qualified for the World Championship Leadership Award. That's really something.
But they're not just leading us on a municipal or a provincial or even Canadian. No, they're leading and representing us in the world league. So that's great from a tiny place like Manitoulin Island. And the nice thing about it, there's only one Manitoulin Island in the world. That name's not anywhere else in the world, only here.
Okay, we'll go on to the next item. It's a letter from the OPP regarding the Tour de France and asking for the use of our arena on Saturday and Sunday, September the 5th and the 6th. Probably we have a counselor here that is taking part in this, do it?
I have, I'm not sure about this year, I've got other things that weekend, but yeah, well, I have. And it's good, it's a good cause, children, have the opportunity to get bicycles that don't have them, and yeah, it's centered on youth and biking.
Yes, Brian.
I just went through this here and it looks like quite an elaborate event. They have their own thing, but they have also the youth engagement. safety program for, kids, so. Sort of, they're just asking for, I guess a donation in kind for the cost of the
Arena.
arena rental, right?
Mhm.
Is that how you put it?
I'm gonna make that motion.
Just a question first, is it available
I don't know.
on those days? So if it's available, I'll make a motion that we, support it and donate in kind to the, event.
Seconder,
I can't.
Richard will second it. Anyone opposed? I think this is very worthwhile.
What was the rent that we'd be doing basically, Denise?
To be honest, I don't know at this time, but I'll definitely have that for when it was council.
Okay.
Okay,
Even if we were to bill the OPP for the rental, they'll bill us back, so.
It was one ticket along the side of the highway.
It'll
Okay.
just when they're operating.
We're going on to financial business, the donation record. This is the end of April, put it on the floor. Sean? Derek?
sorry, who made who first?
John.
Okay.
Any comments?
Cause our big one's just the Manitoulin stream, which is a regular annual one.
If you'll go on the backside, you'll see that I have added all of the in-kind donations to support the rentals.
So this time, those figures will show up in our rental summaries.
Yeah,
Don't just give them and then forget about them.
nope, they will show up as a charge and then as a donation.
So our previous motion to donate the arena would fall out there.
They will show up in the yes.
So did I get a motion to pass this? Denise? Did I get
Yes,
it?
John and Derek.
Anyone opposed? Carried. And the year-to-date financial report.
Give the motion to Cindy.
Yeah, Dale? Seconder? Don? Any questions, Richard?
Well, not really.
I had one long, I do find it.
Question, the computer software from 6,000 to 34, but I think already know what that's about.
I wondered, Denise, 4,200 supplies and services, general holding account.
That's where we pay supplies and services that are generalized to all buildings. And then periodically through the year, Dave will sit down, he'll look at that account and we will figure out how much to parcel out to each individual building.
Okay. And I wondered about bank services charge, down a lot this year.
Sorry?
Bank service charges. 411
Oh,
5,000.
no, it's not that it's down, it's that it's not been journal entered in there yet. Leave it. That's gone now.
They've gone up in all the institutions, so.
I had to question this.
That's a question, that's the answer to that is time.
So we have no in camera. We need a motion to adjourn.
And give that motion.
Thank you, Dale.
Thank you, Linda.
And
You second for that?
Yes.
Okay.
thank you, Richard.
Yeah.
Are you feeling that too?
Oh, I we've been talking to me for.
How does the Viking do? Is it helpful?
Depends on how hard I push.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you don't need replacements.
The original parts along
No,
the
but
fence.
it's-
I did the same thing, but back to the point where it was.
Not
I
quite,
wasn't
but I
made, like, it was
just me.
I go,